So you downloaded Starfish Literacy's writing checklists. Now what? Let's go over it together. When you have the opportunity, make sure to read a little bit about the writing process. So that way you can learn more about why these writing checklists are going to be helpful for your child. Included in this printable file is going to be 4 separate checklists. Let's go over them individually. The first is going to be a general writing checklist. This is one where really anytime your child is writing something, they can use this checklist to help them edit their work. Next is going to be an opinion checklist. So when they're writing something that is providing or stating their opinion and trying to convince someone of that. Next is going to be informational. This is going to be when they're writing about something to inform someone. So typically nonfiction. So maybe they're writing about a person or a specific animal or a plant, something that has facts in it. And lastly is included a narrative checklist. So this is going to be a true story, something that they did in their day-to-day lives, and they can use this checklist to edit and revise their writing. Now let's go through one of these checklists step by step. And I suggest putting these checklists in some type of sheet protector. I'll link the ones that I've used here. I just got them off of Amazon for my classroom. These are pretty durable. I use them with about 30 kindergartners and they have stood the test of time, as you can see. But you could also use just regular sheet protectors. I do recommend a little bit of a thicker one because that way they erase easier. The thinner ones, just as a child is erasing, can kind of make them scrunch up a bit. Let's take a look at this general writing checklist. This is pretty good through children who are in kindergarten through about beginning of 2nd grade. So what I suggest doing is first read through the checklist with your child. Make sure that they understand what the objectives are. Also, you can take a look at the examples and show them, oh, this is what it could look like. Then you can explain to them after you have written, right? They're not going to be doing this necessarily as they're writing, but after you have written, did you check your work to make sure you did this? Or did you edit your work to change it and do this? The next thing that I recommend doing after you've read through the checklist is just to pick 1, maybe 2 things for your child to focus on to start. Because potentially editing or revising their writing for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things could feel very overwhelming for them. So the first thing here is, did I use a capital or uppercase letter at the beginning of my sentence? So after they're done writing, they can check their work and see if they did that. And maybe they did, and check. And then let's say after a week or so, they're ready to add another skill. Then you say, okay, now when you're done writing, we're going to still check for capital letters, but we're also going to be checking, did I use finger spaces in between my words? Maybe another week goes by and now it's time to add another skill. So did I use correct punctuation marks? So this is a great opportunity to explain to them when to use a question mark, an exclamation point, and a period. So again, after they're done with their writing, they can go through and check it off. They can check for all 3. So check, check, check. Maybe some children, I saw this many times in my classroom, like to check, even if they haven't. And that's when I would step in and just say, okay, let's check through it together. Let's go over this. And I would say, okay, an uppercase letter looks like this. And I would show them, maybe if it's the uppercase A, whatever the letter is. Do we see that at the beginning of the sentence? Really show them how to use this. Because maybe it's that they don't fully know what they're looking for. So a good first step, if you're noticing your child is just doing check marks, is to kind of guide them through and show them what they're looking for. Maybe another week goes by. Add on another skill. Did I write a complete sentence? So again, you would ask them to check off all of these previous skills and to check for that as well. And did I use neat handwriting? And again, have them check for these previous skills and in addition, that one. So remember, building over time, eventually they will get the hang of using this whole checklist. It's okay if the first, second, third, fourth time that they are using this, it isn't the most helpful. Maybe they do need a little bit of help with it, but you will see over time that your child will get in the habit of using this as a tool to help support their writing. But it does take time. And this is really how I would build the skill in my classroom. I would truly show students, I would model writing for them, I would make a few mistakes intentionally so then I could show them with the checklist how I fixed my work. So again, that's that piece that I talked about before, how you as the adult can show them how to work through these step by step, because it's not inherent, right? This is a skill that takes time for them to learn and develop. And you can go through this same process with these other checklists. I recommend really only focusing on one checklist, waiting for your child to have a full understanding of that, and then maybe moving on and helping them learn about a new type of writing or a new checklist. And now your child may be wanting to bop around between different types of writing styles. And maybe they aren't fully editing that in this moment, and that's okay. You still have time to come back and help them learn this. Once again, with all these other checklists, go through step by step, teach them about the different parts, show them how they would look for this in their writing, and slowly focus on adding a little bit at a time. Another thing that you could do to help your child really just focus on what they need to is even covering up the other skills, so they're not overwhelmed or worried about editing their writing for everything. So if it's just the first one, cover up everything else. If it's time to add another, just cover up those bottom parts. So just another extra little tip to help your child just focus on those pieces that they need to. Make sure to follow Starfish Literacy so you can learn about more resources and more tips and tricks that you can use to support your child's reading and writing.